All right. Yeah, so welcome to my talk. Thank you all for coming. Yeah, the title might be a little bit like throwing a grenade into the middle of the OCA, because of course we are here because we are working on free open source modules. And what does the stupid Odoo enterprise business model have to do with that? I hope I can explain during this this talk. So I think why I felt the need to have this talk is because I think I'm sensing also in these OCA days a small worry, like a sense of unease. Like we are doing okay, we have a nice community, we have a business model, we are selling stuff, everything is fine. But maybe for the midterm or long term, we sense that maybe this will not continue because there is changes in policies from Odoo SA. Odoo SA is growing, competition on other levels is growing, and will we still be relevant in 5 years? Will we still be relevant in 10 years? Who knows? So this is my own take on it. Yeah, I think that in the past, the offering of Odoo Community plus Open Upgrade was a very, very good option. We were ahead of the market. We were offering a system that was actually better than what Odoo itself was offering at the time. They didn't have a good upgrade path. I remember a talk at the Odoo Experience where Fabienne said, yeah, we are still working on the upgrade scripts, and then the whole audience was screaming to him like, yeah, if it takes any longer, I will just use Open Upgrade. It works much better. And yeah, I'm a bit sad that those times have changed, because nowadays Open Upgrade is still working, but sometimes it's a little bit behind what Odoo is doing. Also, yeah, it takes a lot of effort to keep up with migrating all the modules. We seem to be a little bit understaffed at times. Like PSC people are very busy. Not all PRs get merged or get the attention they deserve. So yeah, that's a factor. And what I think is also a trend is that, something I heard Fabienne say, and of course, yeah, you shouldn't always listen to Fabienne. What Fabienne is actually not looking at OCA, he's looking at the future of his own enterprise and seeing that trends. He said that in 10 years' time, nobody will be paying for actual software anymore. People will just expect that the software is there, that for every use case that there is a software available that you can buy for 50 euros per user per month. That's his belief. I mean, I don't know if it's true, but that's what he thinks. And so the value of a partner will be on the consultant side. So someone who is smart, who can interface with the client, and who can offer the right software. I think in the previous panel discussion upstairs, that's also something that Jay mentioned, that he sees the trend not towards development, but towards consultancy. Yeah, where does that leave OCA? Because OCA is basically a set of modules with people that make those modules. We are developers. Of course, we are also functional people, but our core activity until now has been maintaining modules and maintaining upgrade scripts, being creators of software. Whereas Fabienne has been telling us for 5 years, you shouldn't be the software vendor. We are the software vendor. But yeah, is that what we want? I don't, because I am someone who feels this is an interesting job to have just because I can create. So in this picture, I've seen a lot of proposals in this past OCA days, but also before. There was Virginie mentioning what the OCA board is planning to do. We should have a subscription model where partners are paying to OCA in order to finance projects, whether these projects are open upgrade, which is starting this year, I think, or maybe more. So basically the money comes from the partners and goes to OCA, which is good because then OCA can do more. We were talking about easier onboarding of contributors, making them feel more welcome, making pages where they can read more about how to contribute nicely. I think all these things are good to do, but they are not maybe changing. They give more money to OCA, but I believe that maybe these measures will not give more money to us as a group. So if we take the OCA not only as the association, but also the association and the companies involved with it, I have a feeling that these measures are not going to bring more money to the partners. So it will just give more money from the partners to the OCA. So, but in the end, it's a zero-sum game, I think. Like, we are still, in total, having the same budget. That's why I think, let's throw this in. What if we do the same thing as Odoo SA has done? Like, Odoo SA used to be a poor company with debt. Like, actually a lot of open source companies were at some point. And they managed to change it. How? By adopting the open core model. That's actually the game changer for them. That's what Fabian keeps repeating in all his YouTube videos. Basically, he got people to pay for Odoo. And yeah, the fee that he gets is like 50 euros per user per month, approximately, which made him a billionaire and made him able to hire 5,000 people, all with nice pink shirts and walking around doing what he wants. So, yay for him. But yeah, there's a lot of money in simply trying to get people to pay for modules, for software, which is something we are not doing, or not actively doing. But almost all the instances I've seen, the instances, Odoo instances that we've taken over from other customers, instances that I've been logging into to see if maybe we could take on this project, there's always an OCA model there. Sometimes it's copied and maybe the author has been changed. To some, I've seen South African people putting their name there, maybe changing one line. I've seen many things, but the point being that a lot of people use OCA modules, even our direct competitors, which is what I think Frederick was mentioning, that he sees in Germany a lot of OCA modules being used, but nobody actually paying for them because they're free to download. So also, I see the App Store, and I see it as a big pile of lemons. Is that what Frederick tried to tell us? Yeah, a big pile of lemons, of which you really have to pick the ones that are not rotten. There are not so many things that can help you with that, except maybe a good consultant who knows all these modules, but there's no rating system. So one thing that people look for is actually the OCA modules, because at least for an OCA module, you know that more than one company has looked at it. It has gone through a review process. It has a stamp of quality. So we have a lot of high-value modules, things that people apparently need, otherwise they wouldn't install it on their instance. And we have a mark of quality. So why don't we sell that? I mean, if we have something that has value, why don't we try to somehow sneak in a nudge to people saying, oh, why don't you pay for it? And if people would, then I think the current budget of the OCA, which is like 100K per year, if I'm not mistaken, would be multiplied by 10 or 20 or 100. Because it seems like a small fee, but even one module, that's how I actually got this idea, because we're now trying to sell a module on the App Store, which costs 900 euros. And the calculation I made was like, okay, if we sell that 500 times, or maybe 1,000 times, we will have almost 1 million euros. Is that true actually, or is it 100,000? Help me here. Not anymore. I'm now doing Odoo. Anyway, it's a lot of money. So if you add all that up and take into account that people have to repeat that for after every upgrade they make, yeah, you can make a lot of money. And we still have that name, that edge. We still have that opportunity. And maybe in 5 years we won't have that opportunity anymore. So how to get that money? A lot of ideas, not something very concrete. But okay, one key concept that I have in my mind is to make functionality and to make it exclusive. The functionality could be documentation, or it could be a tour that takes people through the module. It could be usability, maybe a wizard that makes it easier to use, or maybe some cool JavaScript functionality with which you can use it more easily. I mean, the technical stuff will still be in the main repository, but something will be closed. So open core, basically. Or yeah, if you come from the 80s like me, you will call it shareware. You share the software with everybody, and then you put something on and say like, hey, if you pay, you get this small benefit. Do it. Yeah, and if you manage to make this enticing, then a lot of clients, I think, will, or end users, I will say, will actually pay this fee, because nowadays they also don't care most of the time. If I offer them the choice between an App Store module of 500 euros and an OCA module, they will say, yeah, give me whatever's best. I don't care about this 500 euros. So it's actually something they can afford to lose. They won't even think about it. So why don't we grab that money? Why don't we, virtually? Okay, something for later. Yeah, so this is some of the ideas I had. I mean, it's probably bad ideas because I have a lot of them and not all of them are that good, but easier to use version of Open Upgrade, more powerful profiler, easier to use audit logger, easier to use misreports, tours, providers that are supported. I mean, we have the SMS framework, which we could keep open source, but then we could, for example, charge for each individual provider. This is something that is a little bit difficult for me, because yeah, how will you then divide the money that you get in over people or projects? So I think that's up for discussion. I think what we're now doing for that one module that we have on the App Store is that we actually share 50-50. So in the OCA case, it would be that 50% goes to the OCA, 50% goes to the company that's actually developing the add-on. So the closed part of the add-on, and also taking in support requests, trying to maintain an FAQ, stuff like that. So for that work, they will get 50%, and 50% will go to OCA. So everyone benefits. But I imagine that this will lead to a lot of discussion, like who can be that partner that grabs that 50%? Why not Technativa? Why not ForgeFlow? Why this particular company? Maybe you will get discussion, so you can think of other ways. But for me, the important part is that we will get more money as a whole. And how we divide it internally can be up for discussion, but more money will be there. So how does this solve the issues that we have? Like, where do we find new contributors? They are not coming in. Well, if we can pay PSCs to process more PRs, then the contributors will get their PRs merged. They will be happy. They will get nice feedback. Maybe the PSC will even take time to put a heart emoticon on one of their specific comments, and they will feel like, oh, this is a group that I will join. Maybe we will get more PSCs, because PSCs are now paid to do their work. So maybe more people will say, I will actually take my Thursdays and Fridays to do my PSC work. How do we attract more companies to come at these events, to be part of OCA? Well, because you can make money with OCA. So that's the main attractor point. Like you can actually be one of those companies that is awarded a module to take care of. There will be money for R&D, so the modules will be better. We will be able to actually make that roadmap points that we wrote down, and already knowing that we will never do it because there will never be time to do them. We can now actually make them because there will be a reward for it. Yeah, so how does this work practically? I think, yeah, I thought a little bit about licenses. AGPL is pretty strict, so you can't really close source any part of it. But yeah, you can change it to LGPL, but then anyone can make an add-on on top of it. So that's maybe also something you don't want, because you can get random companies making their shit modules on top of OCA modules and selling that. So one alternative is dual licensing, where you actually say, okay, I license the module as AGPL for everyone, but for selected people, I offer a commercial license. And then you can have a lot of control over who actually gets that license. Yeah, so if we don't do it, yeah, I've already said in the beginning, yeah, we run the risk of maybe not being creators anymore in the future. So, conclusion, my main point being, we should take now action to bank on the value that we have and use it to bring in more money. Thank you. Holger.
Thanks for the talk. I found this shareware idea you mentioned interesting. I never thought about that that way. I think it will be very difficult, as you already mentioned, to separate things. But maybe we can do something in between. Like have, I think I'm, yes. Have all the OCA modules depend on OCA underscore monetize, and OCA underscore monetize checks if you have an active OCA subscription, and it will scream if not, and maybe after 2 months start removing things, and after half a year delete your database, something like that. So maybe without the second 2 steps, but I think this might work and make it easier in that sense that you don't have any discussions about distributing things. Just everything goes to the OCA. OCA can do with it whatever she wants, and probably also hire a lot of us to do then new things. Because I fear actually a little bit as soon as you have a mix of unpaid work and paid work, you will have a sick incentive, of course, that everything that is not paid will not be done anymore. Because people think, well, my precious time, of course, is going to be paid. And the unpaid stuff is for the idiots who do it out of idealism.
Yeah, so I think those are good points. It would be so much easier if we don't have to actually separate free code from non-free code and just make the monetized module and entice people to pay. It's just that we need to offer probably something of value with that subscription. Yeah, it will stop all those hamsters from dancing around the screen. That's a good input. Frederick.
I think it's going to be really hard to implement such an idea because what Holger just mentioned, you might easily end up in a situation where you have a difference between paid and unpaid work, and the whole thing explodes just because you pivot away from the all-free model to a paid model. I would like to make a point back and ask ourselves and let us ask ourselves who we want to pay for the value. And I think if I'm not mistaken, the majority of people that should pay but don't pay are integrators that get money for their consultancy from their customers for selecting pieces of software and pieces of customization to put it all together and make their lives easy by selecting OCA modules. Because the work is half done by just taking the model and install it at the customer side. So one of the things we could do in order to make the whole thing more monetizable is making the end user more aware of the fact that there might be an integrator just taking stuff for free and not even considering giving something back. So I don't know actually how we could implement this, but imagine we could say in every database that you realized in Africa, in Norway, in Denmark, in Germany, wherever, the end user would realize that there has been code that is used for free that they actually paid with their project money. If that creates a little bit of a pressure from the customer towards the integrator to push back some money to the OCA, that might be a way to indirectly monetize things. I don't have the golden grail how to implement this, but I think that would be much more feasible.
Yeah, I agree, because I think that money is a potential that is there, and it's up to the end user or the end customer to pay it or not. And maybe he would already be enticed to pay it by seeing a pop-up or by being made aware of the fact that he's using. Yes, Tobias? No?
Hello, everybody. My name is Tobias from OBS. I just want to comment a bit on three topics. One comment to Frederick. I think the end customer, in 99% of the cases that I know at least, they don't understand the concept of open source. So it's very difficult to make pressure via the end customer. I think it would confuse them a lot. The second comment to what you said, I think there's two areas. One is And I like the idea a lot to say we have a lot of value in the OCA and we need to make this value somehow commercial in order to get a better budget, because the budget is really poor, it can be far higher. And I think there's two different things. One is to commercialize the value you have, and the other thing is, what do you do with the money you get? Yeah, if you pay really, and if you have really the conflict of changing the culture in order to say, well, we want to now pay all the work, I think that would be the wrong approach. I think the culture has to be maintained, and I think the open source culture of Odoo is one very important point in the Odoo environment generally, and we have to maintain that. And we have to, as an open, I'm not an open source person, I'm not a programmer, but I think it's very important to maintain that culture. And the third topic, what I had several discussions now yesterday and as well today about the topic that there is a lot of value in the OCA, and the question is a bit on how to commercialize it in order that the OCA has more money, and we as the OCA can have such an event like bigger, not with 200 people, with 2,000, and with a free beer in the evening. Not that you have to pay for the third beer then. And well, my idea, and that I said I'm very new to the OCA idea, but I want to explain that, and perhaps it has a point. I think the real, and there I agree with Frederick, the real beneficial party here of the OCA modules is the integrators, which are not contributing and are not sponsoring. And I think in the end, and they are really making money out of the OCA modules in the end, because it gives value to them and they can offer it to their customers. So, I mean, I would make it very simple. I'm not sure if that's legally possible, if that's technically possible, that might need to be, we need to adjust. But I would say, well, if you as a partner want to use the OCA modules, you have to pay, let's say in Europe, US, €1,000 per year, which is for a company nothing. But it is obligatory. If you don't want to pay €1,000, you can stay with the Odoo standard version, Odoo Enterprise without OCA modules if you want. But as you said it as well, most projects need OCA modules. Yeah? And that would be very simple. That would be on one slide. You pay €1,000 per year, and let's say in Africa you pay less, and so on. You can split it depending on the country. And each partner has to pay that wants to use the OCA modules. And I would not touch the cultural thing that it's open source and so on. That I would not touch. But you have a revenue stream in where you could host great events. You could do sprints. What I learned, there's sprints, 3-4 days, developer sprints. You could give that for free. You could say the best contributor, he's getting a nice holiday, 2 weeks Caribbean or something. Perfect. Yeah. You would not change the core. Sorry? Okay, Pedro will disappear. Very good. No, but I mean, you don't need to pay them directly, but you can reward the great work that is done. And therefore, I would make that pretty simple. €1,000 you have to pay. I think all companies, all partners will pay. And I mean, I don't know if the exact number. I think there's about 8,000 partners worldwide. So imagine 8,000, let's say, times 500. You end up with a budget of 4 million. And let's do that 50%. You end up with a budget of €2 million. Imagine what you could do with this without changing the culture of this great community. Thank you.
Really quick, who would quit OCA if we start to monetize? No, just any concrete thing coming out of this that has to do with money and the reimbursement of money and the possible reinvestment of money. I think some of us would quit. So we should probably extend this discussion also in writing and in next meetings, because it's interesting, but I suspect that we will lose our fellow travelers that have contributed already very much. So that's just what I wanted to know. I can bring it to Pedro. Quick.
Thanks for the offering on the travel part. But I think you are focusing all the time in making a product, and that's the problem. You cannot convert OCA into a product. If you do that, you are killing the open source nature and the collaborative thing, because you are saying, hey, let's put a price to use OCA modules, and good contributors don't pay. But how are you going to contribute if you don't have access to the modules that you want to contribute, because they are after a paywall? And when you put the money on that things, you have to put control to that paywall for people not to pirate it, and so on. So you have a lot of costs on top of this trying to do a commercialization of a product. It's what we need to do is to get some services that gets money to OCA. The money is needed, of course, and is needed to make things, to continue contributing and to favor this contribution, but not at cost of trying to make money with the code itself, with the contribution itself. A possible option that I have in my mind is a service that provides OCA for putting in contact needs with developers, like a real estate agency of code, and getting some commission on this service. That would be an option for getting money, providing something that is not making the current approach and the collaborative way of working, but providing added value. And I think there can be a lot of things that can be done on that way, like services. There is already an initiative started that is the technical training, and it's, I would say it's a pity that people doesn't get too much attraction yet, but it's a way also as integrator to speed up and to save money training your new people. So it's a way, a win-win situation. There is people that wants to perform this training. You pay a reasonable amount to OCA and you get that service. So please, the main message I want to say here is about that. Don't make OCA a product. As he has said, I will quit if I find that what I have done, my work, is being commercialized. I don't care if I receive the 100%, 50%, or whatever. This is not why I have been contributing. I have been contributing to have that code base and to let other people to be able to start the same I started. Because when I started in this world, I self-trained, I learned by myself and started contributing, and this has led me to current situation, which is a nice one, and I want others to get the same opportunity to get to this situation. Okay.
Yeah, Ronald was first, then you. Sorry? Oh yeah, sorry. Maybe here.
Well, we talked a lot about money. I could have been a lot richer and more wealthy if I had stayed at IBM and got good money as a consultant. But I wanted to be a free software developer. Free software that enables the user to look at the software, to modify the software, to distribute the software. The software freedoms, like also the Free Software Foundation stands for. And that is what I founded also Therp for. We wanted to build on free and open software that enables the users freedom, turning our modules into basically closed source modules, whatever you call them, I think goes against what we should stand for in my opinion. I think, yes, we need money. Yes, to develop, we need money for the OCA. But anyway, all of us are earning money by our services, be it programming, be it consultancy. We are earning our money, even though not all of us are rich. The other thing I want to say, of course, OCA needs more money. And what Tom said is, well, if I offer this model from, how do you say, the App Store for €500, or this OCA module, the customer doesn't care. So what that means is we should do more, all of us, to ask our customers to contribute some amount of money each year to the OCA for what for all the value they are getting. And if we do that in a consistent way, and we make the way to do this more visible in our modules, in the readmes, and for my part, below each main form, we will get more money. Even though we might not get rich, we at least keep our principles. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we have a lot of good ideas here. I think your starting point with the shareware model is going in the right direction. I'm with Pedro that it's probably not doable to have like a complete paywall and see it as a product, nor that we really want that. But what we also realized multiple times is that open upgrade is something everybody needs. So with the shareware model and something on top, we have the problem that where do you spend my energy, on the paid work, on the non-paid work? So this is problematic. But the model we currently have and we also want to extend is that we provide an awesome open upgrade story. Since everybody needs that, we could put this behind something like a paywall or like a membership or whatever. This can be the same number. If you need that for all your customers, you pay the 500 or 1,000 euros a year for that, and the rest is free and works like it always has. And this also makes it easier. You don't need the 50-50 share. No, the OCA pays the work that needs to be done to whoever does the work, and the OCA gets the revenues, and there's no discussion about whoever wants to contribute to the work can speak to the OCA and does the work. I think we will get a lot of budget with that, and it removes all the anger of touching the other topics.
Thank you for presenting your ideas. I think we share this, okay, there are some people that are using the modules that are not paying for. Okay, but for me, it's being honest, we also use Odoo without paying for it. We tried paying Odoo some contributions. They were calling every week whether we wanted to go to open up to enterprise edition and so on. They did not understand why we pay, but whatever. For me, the problem is it's not clear what is the problem today. For me, it's not a problem that people are using the modules from OCA without paying for it. The problem we have today is that we don't have enough contributions, enough money to pay for contribution maybe, and it's nice that I have seen a number of presentations that tries to propose solutions for that. And I think that there are a number of things. Proposing service, for sure, it's something that is used in many open source projects, and it makes sense that the one who needs it will pay for it, and we don't have to say if you want to look, if you want to, you have to pay. For me, it makes no sense. And that's also why we are here, because it's an open source project. If we start closing a number of things, like Open Upgrade, for me, it makes no sense to close Open Upgrade. No one is able to use Open Upgrade without support today, or without entering, without spending time on it. And so it's, I'm not sure it's a good idea to go in the direction of closing software. And for us, it makes no sense at all. And just for me, it makes sense that we could pay for some contributions and so on, and we need money for that, and that's a problem we want to address. And there are many solutions. I'm not sure which one is the best one, but I think what we need is people that will contribute, and I'm not sure that making closed source or closed things will bring more people.
Frederik?
Trying to synthesize a little bit about what I've heard now. I do very much share the notion that we are an open source -- free software community. So most of us value the fact that something is for free and that money plays a little role, only a little role in the whole game. Now, I think that one thing that doesn't seem too, at least to me, not too clear among us is that the very fact that we are sitting together here, that we are be able to have this conversation each and every year relates to money and contribution of some sort. And in order to increase that message towards the outside world, and the outside world is, for instance, people that are using OCA modules, and also the vendor itself, we need to sustain, I think, honestly, we need to sustain OCA, and we need to find solutions to support this with enough resources to grow. I don't think that closing down pieces of the software is a good idea, but I think monetizing additional services that end users are willing to pay for could be a good option. And in that regard, I wonder, but I'm probably not actively technical enough to evaluate this. I think Open Upgrade, in a way that really delivers value to the end customer in the sense of a security, that the OCA modules that are being installed on an instance have a solid migration path and somewhat an insurance that they will be maintained also in the future if the initial author loses interest, provided by the OCA through its platform, could be an idea to monetize the OCA just enough on a valuable service for the end user, for everybody that uses the modules of the OCA, to allow the OCA to grow and spread the message. But I think without finding such a value-added service that is not necessarily bound to the very fact that you install a module, but on the way you use it and you have an insurance to upgrade it, that could be a way to monetize what this very community is doing. But other than this, I don't see any opportunity. In fact, maybe the one that puts social pressure on people that are using free software and do not contribute back. But these are the only two things we can do without perverting the core concept of open source, is just making them pay for value-added service, which is fair because paying for service is not in contradiction to the open source values, and putting social pressure on people that are free riders is also valid in the free and open source movement, and Richard Matthew Stallman is doing that very often. So these are the two options, and this is the only way we can monetize, I would say.
Okay, I'm really happy because this is what I hoped for. A lot of angry feedback. I think I succeeded in at least making a point and making a discussion start. I have no idea if it's ever going to be concluded or just remains here. I just wanted to put it out, and thank you for that. Is there still something like a discussion about the Miguel talk and my talk coming? Maybe you can explain.
Yeah, so thank you for attending this. Oh yeah, the room is full. So thank you. And yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was kind of courageous to do that, so. So yes, we have a bit of a time left to just continue the discussion. It's what we just started, I think, a bit with question and answers, but we can also go more into detail about that with the people who want, so we can continue to give the mic and things like that. And I have also a question, because I was wondering if you, as contributors, would want to get paid to be PSC, to the PSC works to be done and to maintain things, because it is also a question that I've got in my head, like, if we get money, what do we use it for? And I think we are struggling a lot to merge the pull request and review the pull request quickly. But it's also the fear that, as you said, if you are paid, if some people are paid and others are not paid, maybe the people who are not paid won't continue to contribute, and I would like a sense of a feeling from the people here about that as well. And you wanted to start, so come and answer. Thank you.
The idea of OCA, it's pretty cool, and if we'll start monetize this, I think it's going to end pretty fast. And the thing is, I would say, I believe 90% of OCA models, in the repos, they're not just because someone created it. They've all been there on someone's demand, and they've been paid for partners, and even all those migrations, they've also been paid, because when I have some demand on a partner, what I'm doing first, I'm not inventing a bicycle. I'm going to OCA, I check all the repos, and I find a solution. So money is already paid. The thing is, we need some money to maintain. And as the guy said, and I 100% agree with this, we need to find some extra value, because the customers, basically they don't know what is OCA. It's only developers know. But maybe we can put some efforts and put our discussion on searching, as everybody said else, or providing some training for high quality standards of coding to provide, I don't know, but definitely not closing part of repo, because okay, every time I have a project, for instance, there is a few PRs in help desk, I'm doing project, and I'm thinking, okay, how can I do my best to make it as versatile as possible, yeah, to put it to the OCA, so it will be migrated, it will be double, triple checked by different high quality developers. And then I will add something on top of this, to suit my customer. So that's the approach we follow in Setmix, and I hope everyone will appreciate this approach as well. So as for me, we have to discuss not okay, have we closed or not. We have to discuss what can we offer to be more well known, yeah, to be to give this value to people, people are ready to pay for. That's it.
I wanted to contribute something. I've listened to all the problems that may arise from Tom's initial idea. And certainly Tom's idea would give recurrent revenue stream and perhaps make our budget 100 times larger. But the many problems of conflicting with the open source spirit have been made quite clear today. My idea would be perhaps start simply. Most of the open source successes have been founded upon selling services and support. Why don't we start selling everything we have to do? In the sense that currently, many things are not done, are done late, or are done when one of the OCA members has a client that actually needs it. But it's totally possible that somebody else needed that 1 month earlier and was willing to pay a lot of money for that. So why not just make a list of all the upgrades, all the work we need to do, and sell it with the understanding that once this work is completed, it will be open source. I'm sure there are a lot of companies that are willing to pay a very high price for this work to be done. And this work, once done, could be assigned to the person who is most efficient in that particular area. A percentage could go to the OCA, and another percentage should go to the developer. I think this is a simple idea, and there is no changing to the repositories. Everything would be completely open source. There is no conflict with the ideals and with the access to a career that Pedro was talking about, which is very beautiful because if a person has an interest in something and can build a career on it and finds open doors to access that career, it's very nice. I think there's no conflict with that. The only work for this to start would be to actually itemize all the work that needs to be done and put it for sale. We could also have a bidding system where the customers actually ask for things or ask for something to be done in a particular way. This could lead also to maybe not customizations. We should always stay on the generic side of just maintaining and improving OCA modules. But I think just putting up a page where we put for sale the work to be done could increase our revenue a lot. That's all I want to say. I hope maybe somebody would pick up this idea and we could perhaps keep it on the table.
I wanted to ask Pedro if this somehow aligns with your idea of a marketplace. I also wanted to maybe facilitate Virginie's question, because you haven't received an answer yet. Who is PSC in this room? Raise your hand. And, okay, about 20, I think. Who would want to get paid for it? Who is absolutely opposed to getting paid for it? Okay, so it's a controversial issue, I think. A poisoned ID, right? Ronald?
If we can get more money for the OCA, one other thing I was thinking of, just give customers each half year or year a list of the OCA modules they are using, together with the IBAN number where they can contribute and what the suggested price could be. But anyway, if we can increase the revenues of the OCA, I think it's is maybe a good idea to have the OCA say, well, what are the strategic things we need to develop, and then pay developers to develop it, or increase it or migrate it, like for instance open upgrade, or the web modules that are used by everybody. So I'm not opposing to the OCA paying actually for development, for what is important for the whole community to do. Just because some things we can of course ask the customers to pay for it, but some things are just too big for a single customer to pay. So if you can pool contributions and in this way as the community pay for that, that might help a lot, I think.
Anyone with something to say? Not me.
I think it's a good idea to get the end user to pay, but I think also, for me, if I had a clear view of what is needed by the OCA and what it costs, it's maybe it's easier for me also to say, okay, I will dedicate this amount of money because it makes sense for me. Now I don't really know the money I give as a sponsor, what it is used for. And maybe if we put the priorities and said, okay, we need, I don't know, 30,000 for open upgrade, we need, because these are the priorities of those years, that's where we want to go, it makes much more sense also as an integrator to contribute monetarily to that. And maybe even we could introduce a fee to our customer to pay back to the OCA to reimburse also a part of what we would pay as an integrator.
Yeah, I think some partners are actually already doing that, but not everybody. I mean, I heard Camp to Camp doing that. On any contract they sell, they put a certain percentage that goes back to OCA, or at least on OCA work that they do, probably. But no, unfortunately. Anyone with a? Sure, go wild.
Just starting thinking of this issue, and the thing is, like, maybe okay, we have some high quality developers here, and for instance, OCA can like be left as OCA, but we can maybe arrange some external modules, and you put like as a reviewer, you will check someone external model and put your like OCA compliance like checked or OCA approved, and you will put this paid module, or you can like provide some services for checking it and complying on OCA coding standards, something like this, something extra. Just like some sort of idea. If I made it clear or not clear, I don't know. Is it clear? No, it's not. Oh, just you check someone's code, and we put like some app store, external app store, and that's it. Like someone developed it and someone want to sell it, because like in Odoo store we know that's a lot of poor quality modules, and if you will do your job to check it, to like improve the code, help to improve the code, and then you put your like sign of quality that it was checked by OCA. Something like this. That's the way to make money. Just maybe someone got other ideas on that.
But would you be putting that on your own module that you have built?
Someone just want to check their model. Okay, it's going to be like OCA app store, like some external store, and you just checked it and you approved this, but it's not going to belong to OCA, but you check this and like you create extra value. It's just
quality service for OCA. Yeah. It probably needs to be paid.
It's going to be paid from a contributor. Yeah, he will pay some fee for you guys to check this module, like to give some tips of improvements or review. So you will get, OCA will get the money. You as a reviewer will get the money,
Yeah, and these requests for review would then be a sort of dishes job that all contributors need to do in turn or something like, now it's your turn to review the commercial client. I don't know if it will work.
In my opinion, we must pay attention to not add extra work. Our journey are already complete. If we want to make more revenue, we don't have to think about making a new job or being paid for something to do more. For me, that's the start of the way we want to think how we can get more money. And that's it.
Yeah, that's why I'm a little bit skeptical about things like, okay, offering services or offering training, because that's always someone that has to do it. It sort of needs to be something passive, like some people donating or some people buying something that's already there.
Or something we need to do anyway, like
Yeah.
We all want that the work is being done in the best way possible so that individuals can use it without spending too much work. We all are ready to give our share to that goal.
Yes. Agree. Frederik, you're the only one with the hands up. How much time still left actually for this session?
I'm constantly asking myself, what is Odoo SA doing different than we do and collecting all this money? I mean, they are developing a product, right? But nobody is like paying them the money just because they are developing the product. I mean, that is open, a good fraction of it is open source. The reason why most people pay money to Odoo is because there is a certain insurance that the core, whatever this may be, stays consistent, will be developed by a commanded class of people that are skilled, and there is a service or somewhat an insurance that the code base that is there will be upgraded at some point. That's why Odoo is actively discouraging every single piece of code that is not developed at Odoo itself, be it a grep third-party application or be it OCA. If you install an OCA application and you do that from the Odoo App Store, and you click on this information icon, you will see how much it's discouraged even to include high-quality code into the offering. That's because Odoo perfectly knows going with the standard and assuring people that there is an upgrade path whenever you need it, whenever you like it, is a valuable asset that people are paying for. So, and that is the very reason why I'm thinking, and I tend to agree to what you just said, that we should not add work on top of what is already there, but we need to create a distinctive value to people to monetize this. And this should not inflict with the value of open source itself. And the only way to do that is to provide services that companies are willing to pay. And to me, that is somewhat an equality insurance, could be something like that. So a large company that has a certain kind of a quality insurance. For instance, the original author is not willing to maintain that very module anymore, but the OCA is assuring that some of the members of the OCA will step in, and the OCA makes sure that this module is maintained, and a certain upgrade path. These are the two values that we could really monetize without inflicting with any value of open source or free software.
But who will do all this stuff? Because when I ask for some, like I sent some email to the maintainers or to the PSC asking for the list of modules they use on their customers' database, I've got 2 answers, and I sent like 30 emails. So people are too busy even to answer an email. So I'm just wondering So maybe if it's in a structured way but I feel that the main contributors in the OCA, they already have too much to do. And that's also why you are complaining because the PR is not merged and reviewed, because they are doing a lot of other stuff. And so I'm wondering in the end if money will solve this. So maybe yes, but maybe no. And yeah, I see that Pedro has answers for me. So yeah, it's a real question. Who will do the services?
Exactly, because if I'm already providing that with my company, why I'm going to work for OCA with their rules, with their fee to do the same thing? I don't think that's the approach. We have to deliver services. You are stubborn on the final customer, the final client, and I don't think that's the way to go. We have to provide as OCA services to the intermediate layers, to the integrators, and do that kind of things. Train people to deliver that good services, certificate people through a technical certification program to assure the quality of the integrator, and it's a value also for the integrator to sell their services to the final customers. And this kind of services to the intermediate layer is the way to go, in my opinion. Because if not, as OCA, we are being competing with the integrator itself. There will be conflicts, and there will be also preferences. I, as managing a company, I prefer to do that services on my company, not on OCA. So it's also the question that Virginie says. There is no people to deliver these services in this case, because we have that conflict, and it's a reasonable conflict. So let's go for that kind of services. Maybe there can be some of them that can go to the final client, but not the main core. Let's do services for the integrators.
Nobody more? One.
I'm just wondering, in OCA we have two things. We have the modules that are fine, and we try also to fix a bug at Odoo, is that the Odoo Community Edition has no migration script. So for me it's two things that are separated. Developing module, we can easily add value because the module is not merged, it's not migrated, so we can tell our client the module doesn't exist, so you have to pay for migrating the module, and so we migrate the module. It's not as easy for a standard module. Also, with standard module in Odoo community, we all have a strong interest. Each integrator here, or each company that use Odoo, to have scripts for open upgrades that are done in time for security reasons and to keep tracks with Odoo. And having that in mind, I think we can think in another way, like cooperating all together more structurally. For now, contribution are when we have time or when we achieve to get money from our from our clients. But what if we all the companies here that need Odoo community to have migration scripts sit together and discuss how to finance that? It can be by putting some people from their company at, for example, full-time on this topic or this topic, and so that we share, we divide the work between us and we donate. It can be by putting money on the OCA and then OCA find the best people to do that work, or it can be that, okay, I have this competence, this skill, sorry, in this area, so I will do the work for that. And so that it's not a job that's done when we have time and when we arrive. We just cooperate together to achieve the goal. And so it will be easier when we have a goal to achieve it. So, and that OCA can be the association, the way, the spot where we group together to discuss that and to go further.
But in your view, would then people who are not in OCA have to pay to use Open Upgrade, or not really? They can also use it?
For that, I joined Pedro. As he said, if someone needs a service, maybe we all offer a service like that, maybe, or maybe not, and if not, talk together, because there are some companies that already offer that. So for now, I'm not thinking about there is free rider that use OCA modules and that need also migration. I just think about us, that we need it. So we need to make it, and making it together will be cheaper than just making this on our side. And so having a sort of organization and a goal and a way to structure, to manage the work to do can be more efficient than what we do now. As you said, listing all the things that should be done and then sharing it between us. And if it's clear, if it's easy, maybe the OCA can put price on it so that a free rider can pay if they don't have the time or don't have anything, they don't want to join and give time to do that. They can just give money, but here we have an interest to do it.
I think if there's nobody else, I will close the session. There's Pedro.
Let's put some facts. Why there is no Open Upgrade version 17 right now, 1 year later after the release of the version? It's simply because the people that are involved normally in making these migration scripts are not interested in creating in the same time the release is done. Why? Because our business model doesn't need this. So you have to think also on that. Why Grab, why ForceFlow, why Tecnativa hasn't contributed yet to this version? Because we don't base our business to put the final version or to migrate immediately to that version, because on our model, that version is only an intermediate step, not the final goal. So that's a clarification for you to know about this. Then what you described, Remy, is basically what is open source, the collaboration for getting that. Why is also not possible to coordinate in that way? Because everyone moves of their self-interest, and we can have divergent opinions on how to split that work or simply when. So this needs to continue this way until there is a breaking change on this. And in this case, the money is needed. This is the breaking chain to say, hey, let's put some money, as OCA has done for this version 17. Well, it's on the move right now, but it's going to put a bit money to make the prioritization of the task to do on each company to get some priority on doing the basic scripts. But take also into account that you can do business another way that don't require that rush on everything to get modules migrated, to get migration scripts, and so on. And if you find that comfortable place, you will live better in this ecosystem. Okay.
So thank you. This closes the session. I just want you, I want you to remind you that free riders one day will be contributors tomorrow. I mean, we have been leechers and we are really active. We have been really active in the OCA with my former company. So now we will gather with the rest of the people. I think we will have a final roundup, final words from the board, I suppose. And then we will need your help to clean everything and put all the, all the things that we rented in the different boxes and all this. And then we can all move back to Brussels, where the party continues tomorrow. Bring your t-shirt, don't forget to bring your t-shirt. Thank you a lot.